recording's in progress. So we're officially starting today's special call with Sara Landon, and it's such a blessing to have her on. And Sara is the living and walking embodiment of how to be in your heart and have abundance and love and flow just coming through you. And if you're new to Sara, and some of y'all might be new to Sara, you're just in for an amazing treat and an energetic connection that's going to last well beyond this call and hopefully take you into Sara's community even more deeply than what you're experiencing here. Again, with Sara, it's other than she's just a dear friend and such an inspiration in so many ways. I want to read to you a little bit from her bio because it's important that these be described correctly. Again, for the resonance and for a deeper understanding of what she's bringing through. So Sara's been called a leader of leaders for the next generation of transformation. She's a former corporate executive and entrepreneur turned inspirational speaker, spiritual teacher, and channel of the council. And Sara's recognized as a globally celebrated leader in the field of human potential and spiritual living. Now, the council is a higher level consciousness of non-physical beings who provide a grander perspective of the human experience and the wisdom to live one's fullest potential. Sara's passion is guiding leaders, wayshowers, and trailblazers, that's you guys, to discover their unique life's purpose and the power within them to create a positive impact in the world around them. And with that introduction, Sara, welcome to the call.
Thank you, John Burgos. I love you. I'm so grateful to be here with you and April and your amazing community. BTO is like family for me. And when John was reading that and said the leaders, the wayshowers, the change makers, those pioneering new potentials, it absolutely is all of you. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Now, Sara, today's topic was going to be living in the new earth now. And so we put that out and it's like, okay, living in the new earth. But I want you to tell us what your definition or what your awareness of what the new earth is, so we can start from that point.
I truly believe we all have this dream in our heart of living in a world where there is peace and joy and love and harmony and abundance and freedom and beauty, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. A world where we live in harmony with one another and see the truth in each other and celebrate the truth in each other and come together in collaboration. And as we share, we expand. It's also living harmoniously with everything around you all the time, nature, animals. It's this harmonious relationship with the inner world and with the outer world. And this is a state of consciousness. Heaven on earth is a state of consciousness. A new earth, to me, is something that we have already created on some level through our focus, through our vision, knowing somewhere within us this new earth reality was a possibility for us. And we're no longer waiting. That's what I really want to say. I want to say the grand adventure of a new earth is here now and available to anyone and everyone who is ready to go beyond lack, limitation, fear, the belief in separation, and really step into a state of pure love where your well-being and abundance is assured. And when I say separation, I mean believing that you are not a part of everything and that everything is not a part of you. As one of the things that we're sharing as a bonus, as part of the special offer, it is this 2-hour live event we did, channeled experience on infinite resources, that the abundance of heaven on earth is here for you. It's not separate from you. We've been taught in our life that we are separate from the people we love. We are separate from the money we think we need. We are separate from the answers to our question. We are in this experience of time and space, and we have to wait years and years for it, or we have to work hard and effort and struggle and suffer and earn it. And then and only then will you be worthy of it. And yet, I bet every single one of you have had this dream in your heart for as long as you can remember. that you would live joyfully and abundantly and in a state of well-being and love and harmony, where your life was beautiful, where your life was filled with joy and purpose and meaning. And I know many years ago, that was me. I was working really hard. I hadn't done enough yet. I still had to force an effort and make more things happen and control it all. That kind of belief that you're actually the one running the universe when you're really not. But you are the creator within your own creation. And so while it was a dream of mine, while I imagined it, it wasn't my reality at that time. And I have to say that not only me, but I know you, John, and so many people are now living in this level of consciousness where we are beyond that experience of lack and limitation and fear and separation. And if there's a moment where you experience it, where you catch yourself in some unconscious program or some really old story or some way of thinking, you've just got on some track going down the wrong way with your thoughts, that you can catch it. And instead of thinking, oh, what's wrong with me? Oh, see, I'm not there yet. Oh, I haven't done it right yet. There must be something else to fix. There must be something else to heal. There must be some other process I have to do. No, just love yourself. Just come back into the consciousness of the moment, take a couple of deep breaths, and come back into this experience of paradise and heaven on earth that is always available to you. And to me, that's a new earth. And it's not about choosing for any other. It's not about coming to this place where we believe we have to control what other people do or what other people think. It's coming to this place where we know we really are creators of our reality, and your reality can be anything you want it to be. I used to believe and really, I'm like, I have faith, I really do, that anything is possible. And now I know it. It's an absolute knowing. It's not a belief. It's not about trusting. It's an absolute knowing.
Mhm. Yeah. And again, it's beyond trusting, it's knowing. And that's a different degree. Again, in the knowing, there is no separation. In trusting, there's a gap in between what's wanting to be, what can be actualized and what's preventing it from being actualized.
Yes. And I know it's supposed to be my interview, John, but what is New Earth to you?
It's New Earth is being in that state of flow and integrity within yourself, and that deepening of intimacy of getting to know how you are in relationship with the stimulus that is around you and the choices that we make in it. And again, the New Earth is making the choices from the awareness and consciousness that, again, all of our experiences, all of our, I don't even want to call them circumstances, but everything that is surrounding us in our environment is a byproduct of the love that we're here to experience. And if we can attune to it in that way, and you've said this, you and I have very similar expressions around this. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us.
Yeah, always.
And we get into a flow and we start seeing the miracles that start unfolding around us, and we recognize them more instead of pushing them away because we're so deep within the suffering of not having enough or not getting it right, or like you said, still needing to do something more within myself or controlling my outside circumstances. So
yeah.
And I love the way you hold it and the way that you're living it, because you truly are living it.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. And you may start noticing people around you tuning into this as well. They may not use the same words. They may not talk about a new earth. They may ask you what that is if they hear you talk about it. But you'll hear people say something like, oh, this is just heaven on earth. And they're tuning into that energy, that frequency. That dream is within their heart too. And they may not be on this same journey through consciousness and spirituality that this community is, but there are some incredible masters out there that are also part of this experience of creating heaven on earth and part of your new earth experience. And the more that we really seek to find harmony and be these vessels of pure divine love that each and every one of us are, the more you're going to find those around you opening up, awakening in your families, in your friendships, in your coworkers, in your communities. I'm seeing it all around me, and it's so beautiful to witness. And one of the things that I am touched most deeply by is being able to be one of these leaders and way showers and change makers, like every single one of you are, who can lead the way, shine the light on a more harmonious, loving, gentle, wonderful world and way of being that is possible for all of us.
So how was it, what are the aha moments that your community is having, as because again, you've got a community that's really involved and really conscientious about the experiences that they're having in ways that perhaps they weren't before. What do you see shifting within the community and within individuals in the community?
Ooh, I love that question. So I am really seeing people step up and embody their mastery. We've talked about it, and I am witnessing it, and it is powerful and it is beautiful. One of the things that is so different about the energy now of our master's class community and the different courses that we do and the experiences we have are, these amazing people in my life are masters. I learn from them the ways that they integrate this wisdom in their life and how they expand infinite potentials and possibilities in their own life, and then come back and share it. In my perspective, is the new way of expanding and growing and evolving. It's not from this state of you need more, you need to learn more. You're not good enough yet. You haven't learned enough yet. You've still got to give your power away to all these things outside of you. No, it's about really stepping into your power and knowing that your living expression of this wisdom, of this level of consciousness, of this awareness in your life is what is contributing to expanding the potentials and the possibilities that are available for everyone. And so it's a way of expanding through sharing. One of the things that I witnessed that is so beautiful is that as people share the magical things and the miraculous manifestations and the experiences of true creation that they have in their life, it brings all of us into this state of going beyond that trusting and believing into an absolute knowing and becoming more open and allowing of all the ways that abundance and wealth and prosperity and well-being and joy and love present itself to you. And I think that's really powerful.
I agree. Guys, you're reminding me about 15 years ago when I felt the floodgates just sprang open for me and I started seeing energy and started having these dreams, these lucid dreams where I felt like I was being taught things. There was a lot that I was sharing with my daughters who were in their teenage years at the time, and they were making fun of me for meditating, for shopping organic food and all that, about 15 years ago. But I still kept sharing, and there was so much openness. Had I repressed it, it would have been a slower process, or whatever I repressed was, I think, stopping the dam up a little bit. What was available, and I find that the more and the more that I express what's really happening, how much more graceful and how much more aware I am of the abundance that comes through in that intelligence.
Absolutely. And I think when we celebrate those things and we talk about those things and we share in those things, the energy of giving and receiving is one. We've all been giving, giving, giving. I think most of us would consider ourselves pretty giving, compassionate people that want to make the world a better place, that want to make a difference, that want to help people. And yet sometimes we forget to open up and receive. And sometimes we receive something we don't even really notice. And yet when you slow down and really celebrate the miracles, celebrate the magical things, celebrate the love and the abundance and the beauty in your life, it just expands. It can be no other way.
Yeah. What would you say to those people? We have so many people writing in. It's like, oh, thank goodness for this show. I find I'm resonating with people. I found home, people that speak my language. What would you say to those people that is perhaps beyond, again, the limitations that perhaps we grew up with, that presents that there's an opportunity to expand what we consider a very niche type of conversation, or very evocative type of expression in our beliefs and what's available energetically and in other realms.
Well, I could tell you that was one of the ways that I really created separation in my life, and therefore had a lot of experiences of separation, when I believed that this path of consciousness and spirituality makes me different than what I would say are normal people, or that I would look at what might be normal people and think that they weren't like me. And I realized I was just imposing separation and creating judgment that always entangled me in that experience of separation. And so while many people in my personal life know that I do this work, probably equally as many have no idea what I do. They may think I'm an inspirational speaker or a teacher, but they don't care. They don't.
Right.
People love you for you. And there's a light that you bring no matter what words are coming out of your mouth. And so I would say this is really our opportunity as those who identify with being way showers. Again, it's showing the way forward, showing the way through the way that you live your life, how you live the greatest and highest expression of you in every moment. And you have to be in the moment to be the greatest, highest expression of you in the moment. So when you think the person you're sitting with isn't going to understand you, or they're judging you, or they're not going to get it, or they think you're weird or woo-woo, you're not in the moment. And therefore, you're not connected to your power. So when you may have had experiences like that, if you look back, and of course, there's no judgment ever, I know I can see that I wasn't really in my power. I was creating some type of story about how they are different from me. And yet in the moments I've had the opportunity where, a little bit out of the blue, a little uncomfortable, someone's like, what do you do? I was a classically trained corporate person that had an elevator pitch back in my former day. I know you did too, John.
Oh, yeah.
And I realize now that in every situation, the answer to that is different. And
Yeah.
I've learned that it's actually kind to speak someone else's language. I have many people in my life that are on the path of Christianity, and Jesus is their only way. And it's kind to speak to them in their way and what resonates with them. But I couldn't get there until I stopped judging religion and Christianity as something that was separate, or that path was separate. I believe, as someone said today in my community, and I don't remember where it originally came from, but we're all walking each other home. We're all walking each other home from the playground where we got to live this grand adventure, this incredible life, have the experiences we want to have, expand and have new opportunities and live our highest potential. And then we return to the source of who we are. We're all going to get there. And so I think when you love and celebrate yourself, when you really know this, not that you're seeking anymore, not that there's anything wrong with that, but whatever you think you might be seeking is not outside of you. I had this conversation with someone the other day that wasn't really familiar with the council, this higher level of consciousness or ascended master beings of a collective of greater awareness than our humans have. And the question was sort of, where are they? Are they out there? And it's, yes, but it's this field of consciousness that is you and is always available to you. It's tuning into a part of you, and we all have access to that. We all have access to that. And so the more you allow yourself in every moment to be in your power and allow yourself to be the greatest expression of you and the highest expression of you in every moment, when we go beyond that needing and wanting, when you can love and accept yourself, you'll notice that there are no walls, there are no barriers, there is nothing dividing us, there is nothing keeping us separate except our beliefs of that there are.
That's beautiful. I really like that you brought in the concept of seeking also, because if we are seeking, we have to ask the question, why? Why are we seeking? And if it's from a sense of wonder and curiosity, there's an openness in that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's that sense of not enough, or I haven't gotten it yet, or I'm supposed to attain, or like that grabby type of needing to pull something in because something in you is missing, that's when really we start creating havoc within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And it is about finding the wholeness and the completeness and the perfection that is you. And yeah, you may have had parts of your human experience that you might choose differently from where you are now, but that didn't mean that you weren't perfect and whole and complete and worthy in every moment. And what I was seeking was answers to these questions that I had that no one could answer for me. And it was this continual desire to live my highest purpose, to be the fullest expression of who I am. And yet I know so many times in our life, we think, well, we can't do that because we have to go to work every day. And we can't do that because we have all these other responsibilities. And we can't do that because part of that would mean some sort of move or change in your life that you think would be disappointing, or you would feel like you had to hurt someone else. And so you've navigated through that. I've navigated through that. It's really, we talk about navigating through change, but it's navigating through your own creation. And you are, as the council will say, every answer to any question that anyone ever asks is always the exact same. Now, they may say it 100 different ways, but you are creator within your own creation. You are creator within your own creation of reality. And so when you really come into that awareness, that might not be your experience yet, but just tuning your awareness to, what does that feel like? What does that look like? What would that mean? As you start tuning into that awareness and you begin to start perceiving that, you start drawing to you experiences that will allow you to really come into a greater truth about how you are creating your reality. And in that, you will see that it's all perfect. Even the things that you think went wrong, the times that you think you were failing, the things you think you messed up, the opportunities you think you missed out on, you will see how perfect it all is.
Yeah, it's wonderfully said and stated. Thank you, Sara. Staying on the concept of seeking, I'm curious. When you first started channeling, like when the council started coming in, and it's like, okay, what is this? Because it had to have been kind of a surprise or a little odd for you. How did that sense of trying to make sense and to integrate and seeking beyond you not have a pull on you? Or how did you navigate it if it did?
Well, I think that whatever you're doing right now, John, in your life is preparing you for something even bigger than you can imagine right now. And I know if I go back literally 20 years, almost to the day, is when that journey of opening up to a higher level of awareness beyond the physical body began for me. It was actually November 16th, 2001, when my brother passed away in a car crash. Now, prior to that, I was spiritual, but I didn't really use the word God. I hadn't quite found any particular religion after studying, Christianity and growing up in a very loving Christian home, and then studying Buddhism and Hinduism and Taoism and Sufism and all beautiful. But I hadn't found my truth. And as a child, I had been exposed to metaphysical things and a very spiritual aunt who had been on this path for many years already. So that was a powerful influence that I know that was no accident in my life. But when my brother passed away, and I'll just share this really quickly, I walked into his viewing, never seen a dead body before, cold, heavy, emotional room, sat down on this chair. And after a few moments, this energy that I can only describe as liquid love started from the top of my head and went through my entire body. And I was totally in peace. And I heard him say over my right shoulder, "I am still here. I'm just not in there." And he was referencing his body, which was on the left side of the room. He said, "I'm just as here as I ever was. I just left the density of the body." And he proceeded to say that I couldn't see him because when someone leaves the density of the body, they're at a rate of vibration where our physical senses can't perceive them. And then I was back in the room. And I do believe it was the love of my brother that allowed me to keep my heart open to that. And I could not deny that experience. And I had no doubt in my mind, because of some of the things that occurred, that it absolutely was him, that I wasn't making it up, that there was this intelligence that was beyond the physical body, or this consciousness that was still him, and that was still available to me. And that went on for many years. And then I had all these questions, and I kept asking these questions. I was guided to personal development and all sorts of spirituality and all different things. And I just couldn't find some of the answers I was looking for. And I started waking up in the middle of the night and journaling, or what you might call automatic writing. And these answers and this wisdom would come through me. And I would wake up the next morning, and it was the most profound wisdom I had ever come across in my human experience. And it was coming through me, certainly not from my head, because it was not things I knew. And sometime after that, that was always very spontaneous. I would sit down to journal, but it was very spontaneous when that energy would come through. And then when I actually did have my first experience of doing a QHHT session, quantum hypnosis healing technique, created by Dolores Cannon, who's an amazing teacher and guide who passed away some years ago, I was just tuning into my soul. I was just looking for answers from my soul about where I was in my life, and was I living my purpose? And it was with absolutely no intention to connect it to collectives of higher level beings. I was just trying to get the answers from my soul of what my soul's desires were for my life. And so, no, I had no way of possibly knowing that my voice would change, my eyes were closed, and all of a sudden the answers started flowing through me of things I just had no idea of. And I realized it was the same energy that was coming through in the middle of the night. And that's really where it began. Now that was years ago, and the journey has expanded from there. However, I would like to say, because I think it's so important, what I am seeing now, and while it's my great, dream come true, joy for the council's wisdom to be out in the world the way it is, and if millions of people lives were positively affected and changed and by their teachings, I mean, that is a dream come true for me. But the legacy I would like to leave in my work is that all those who are ready learn and remember how to tune in to their own connection to source energy, where they can always connect to the highest guidance, the highest wisdom, the source energy, and it expresses through people in all different ways. And so while a big part of my work is channeling the council, which to me it changed my life beyond my wildest dreams, it's the most profound and beautiful wisdom I've ever come across in my life. I just am beyond words grateful to be able to be a vessel for that divine wisdom to come through, and that divine love and light. But I truly see the next 20 years or however long it is, allowing all those that are ready to have a much easier path than I did. And so one of the things we love, we have created these groups of semi-private learn how to channel groups. And the thing I'm seeing is people just going from never hearing about channeling to 3 weeks later, these incredible channels bringing through messages in such a beautiful way. And that took me years and years. I mean, it was really a 10-year journey for me, but ultimately, since my first experience of accessing some higher level of consciousness, it was 20 years. And I'm seeing people go through it in weeks. And that thrills me. It makes me so excited and so enthusiastic. And I cannot tell you how meaningful and fulfilling it is to guide people through that and share with them all the things I learned along the way. I would love to see millions of people fully opening up to their own channel of infinite intelligence and higher wisdom within them.
Oh, I truly believe we're getting there, and
Yeah.
beyond millions, really into vast majority of people. And even the media's changed. You couldn't say the word meditation on TV 15, 20 years ago because of the advertisers and all this. And then look how the vernacular on media has adjusted because of these influences and our capacity, our energetic insistence that we open these gateways to our hearts. And so it's wonderful to see so many things shifting along the way. And you're right. I love that you brought it back to, and to bring it up to date to the here and now. And it's true what you said, we're walking each other home, and through those experiences and embodying whatever messages we're receiving through that love. Because I don't believe the council or our guides need credit for anything that we're accomplishing as we continue to expand into that divinity. But that means of communication that everybody doesn't have that. Like you said, everybody has their unique way of shining from this being. And that's really what is evolving. And that gives us communication into, again, the intimacy within ourselves, knowing ourselves, the why ourselves, and a curiosity. But then from that, we can't help but to want to share that with others from the overflowing cup that we're being.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And some people, it expresses through them in music, in art, in poetry, as a coach or a teacher, where they just allow this wisdom through. And these are people in all different walks of life, some that are still in religious organizations, some that are principals or school administrators or nurses, or people who are raising a family, or whatever it is. It's everywhere. And you don't have to say you're channeling. I really wasn't even comfortable with that word until a few years ago. And yet it was very clear to me that I had to just own it. And it doesn't matter what the word is, but you are a conduit, you're a vessel, you are a channel of this divine love and light in the world. And when you really allow it to express through you, and I'll be the first one to say, John and I've had this conversation. I had no idea how on earth I was going to go from a corporate life that I was in to doing what I really loved.
And let me reframe that though. It was big time corporate life. It wasn't, I was kind of like mid-level management. It's like you were involved in some big deals and some high stakes in corporate, in the corporate world.
And I feel so blessed for that. I know it was part of my path. I know that my guides were not going to even allow me to touch the sacredness of this wisdom until I really knew how to put it in a form of a business with services and products that would get out in the world the way they were meant to. I know that was such a blessing for me. And I'm grateful for that. And I think anybody who's in the corporate world or has had some entrepreneurial experience, or you've worked in a nonprofit, or you've worked in any sort of structure where there's systems and processes, you are very likely there. I'm hearing very strongly, like, stay-at-home moms of being of the most incredible entrepreneurs and systems process people that we have. Anything that you're doing like that is preparing you for what's coming next. And so if you think, oh, well, I'm in this project manager for IT job, how would I ever go from that to what does that have to do with, how would that experience ever translate to doing what I love? And I assure you at some point, the dots will all connect and you will see perfectly how that was preparing you to really live your greater calling and your deeper purpose for why you're here in the world.
Well, and this really brings me to what we were talking about before we went live on the call, is that's those states of flow that we're immersing in. And there's a gracefulness that's showing up in that flow state as our consciousness becomes aware and releases into the flow in relationship with it, rather than separating and trying to control it. And so I'd love to explain more about how you experience flow, how your community is experiencing it, and what the catalyst for it is.
Oh, so many examples of this. I am a former recovering type A, figure it out, make it happen, have a plan A, have a plan B person. And I was good at that. I believe that that's why things worked out for me. And yet that hard work and suffer and sacrifice and set big goals and work hard, I thought that's why things were happening. Now, you can manifest things that way, but that's not really the way we intended it to be. And as you elevate your vibration and your consciousness, that way will not work for you anymore. You will find yourself exhausted and overwhelmed and really frustrated with a lot of resistance and probably a lot of self-judgment. I know I did. And so you got to let go of that. And it's really coming to a place of not needing or wanting for anything. It is knowing that you are connected to everything and it is all within you. And knowing that as you follow the energy and the light, that what you want and need will come to you and it will just be a yes. The definition of true creation is what you want and need coming even before you know you need it. There is no agenda in true creation. And that is one of those things that I just could not wrap my head around at first. And it was not until I had some experiences of it. So John, I shared with you right before we jumped on the call that in our master's class community, a couple of weeks ago, someone was sharing very vulnerably and very powerfully that they trust source and the flow in every area of their life, except for in their finances. They had come from the corporate world. They had followed the energy, followed the light, and had come into a coaching people. And everything else in their life, they could be in the flow, but when it came to money and abundance, they couldn't. And I had this awareness, next week on this call, I want everybody who has experienced magical, miraculous manifestations of abundance without needing and wanting to share so that we can all expand this potential and the possibility of how things can flow to you without this working hard and forcing and efforting. And sure enough, I just got on the call, no plan. And one of the very last shares that came in was this incredible person in our master's class community whose husband passed away. And she chose to take on his business, the family business, and do what she needed to do to get the business where it needed to be. And she felt so guided that that's what she was supposed to do or guided to do, or where the energy was for her, even though there was some difficult times and some doubt. And she had decided to expand. It was choiceless, I guess I should say. I'm hearing that. It was choiceless for her to expand the business. And so she just came to this point where she said to her family, if we run out of our last dollar here, that's okay, because I know this is what I'm supposed to do. It wouldn't matter. I know I'm doing what I'm guided to do. And so the next step was that they had to buy all this furniture for this expanded building that they had moved into. And she was going to go out and buy furniture, but there was no energy in it. There was just no energy in it, no light, wasn't in the flow, would have been force, would have been effort. So she didn't. And a couple of days later, a friend of hers called who was in commercial real estate and said, oh, I have all of these commercial real estate buildings with all this brand new furniture that they just want to get rid of so they can get out of this space. Do you want it? And she's like, yeah. So they go look at this furniture and she got $50,000 worth of furniture for free. Free.
Amazing.
And there's another experience here. Years ago, in one of our master's class calls, someone had talked about, actually, they were part of the master's class, but it was a private session. They had talked about wanting to move to this particular area of town and that they were just kind of frustrated because it was going to take probably 2 or 3 years for them to earn enough income at the job that they were in to be able to afford a house in that area. But they kept going there. They kept walking by it. That's where they loved. And the council said, just go, just walk around, see what happens. So long story short, one day they're walking around. They noticed a for sale sign, or for rent, actually, excuse me, it was a for rent sign. And they called on it. And this person did not have the money to pay the rent that was on the sign, but the guidance was to just go and show up and see how it feels. And they did, and ended up having a several-hour conversation with the owner. And the owner said, I want to rent it to you. And they said, well, I actually don't have that much money to do it. And the owner said, I don't care. I just want you living here. I don't really need to profit from this. I think the owner owned it outright, didn't have a mortgage. And it was about 6 weeks, I think, where they went from believing it would take them years to following the energy, letting the light guide the way. Also, on our master's class call last week, someone shared that exact same story that they had in their life right now. And that is following the energy and letting the light guide the way. But you can really only do that when you let go of the resistance, when you let go of the what you think you need and what you think you want and when you think you need it. Your head, your logical mind takes over, tries to figure it out, tries to make a plan, tries to push, tries to force it. I'm actually having this experience right now in my life. I just woke up one day with this vision in my head of getting a new car and exactly what I wanted. And I started looking, and I've been looking for a while. And after a lot of sifting and sorting through all the different potentials and possibilities, I found the one I really want. And I love it. It's beautiful. And yet it's not choiceless. And I don't know why. It's not choiceless today. It's not choiceless in this moment. It's just not choiceless. I love the car. It's beautiful. I can already feel myself in it. I don't need it. And I really can't say I want it. I don't want it from the old push and force and make it happen. When there's that little feeling of like, I don't know if I want to do that, then it's a no. It might not be a no forever, but the energy and the light is not guiding you. So to push and force and go do it, even though it's not a yes, is to not be in the flow. And in my experience of my life, when I go against that flow, there is trauma, drama, headaches, heartaches. It's a mess. And I have just completely surrendered. And when I say the word surrender, I mean that in the most powerful way. I let go of the resistance. I don't know why, but in my life, every time that I have followed that flow and I have allowed divine right time, divine right way, divine right person, whatever it is, it's always so much better than what I could have figured out on my own. Yeah. And that, to me, there's so many examples of the flow we hear that time and time again, but it's following the energy, letting the light guide the way. And when there is no energy, you stop. When the energy is not flowing easily, effortless, harmoniously, you don't try to push energy where you think it should go. That is when you stop, you put space around yourself, you go beyond needing to and wanting, you come into your power. You know that everything you ever need is within you and always available to you in every moment. And that sort of knowing of if it's meant to be, it will come to me and it will just be absolutely choiceless.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that takes me again to what we talked about before when you mentioned is that alchemy that goes beyond trust into knowing. Mm-hmm. You just know, and it does. Mm-hmm. It's choiceless in that knowing. Mm-hmm. There's resonance and movement. There's flow. It's so beautiful. Oh my God, I can ask you so many questions. We're already 45 minutes in, and I do want to take Q&A because Q&A is always so much fun with you.
We always have so much fun on Q&A.
Yeah, we do. So if y'all want to ask your questions, raise your hand and we'll go through live video questions, and you can type your questions in the chat box also. And we'll try to go through as many as possible as we can on tonight's call. And before we do that, I want to go through Sara's special offer because you're going to go into an immersion with her. That's really special. By the way, I love their new picture at the bottom of the page there. Looks so good. Yeah.
Thank you.
So everybody on the bottom of the page in the chat box, just click on that box and it'll open up if you're not there already. And there's a blue link that April's typed in. Click on that and it'll take you to a special offer page. For any reason you can't find that, open up a new browser, you'll still be able to hear us, and just type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Sara26. It'll take you to the same page. And Sara, what special offer did you prepare for BTO this time? It was extraordinary.
If you like that picture, it's because that's me in my paradise. So the special offer is called Welcome to Paradise, an invitation into new earth. And I have to tell a little story before I dive into this, because one of the things the council always asks people when they're trying to create something new or new reality and new life, or they feel stuck where they are, one of the questions is always, what would your perfect day be? If you woke up tomorrow morning and lived your perfect day all day, what would your perfect day be? And I first heard them ask this question. And at that point in time, I really was not living my perfect day in any way, shape, or form. But the answer would have been, I wake up, I feel great, I feel energized. My dogs are there, my animals are there. I get up, I do my meditation or my tune in practice and just enjoy moving easily, effortlessly into my day. And then I imagined always, a partner there, and we would go to the gym, and then we would come back and have a beautiful breakfast overlooking the ocean, and we would hang out, do fun things. And then I would work and do the things I love and have amazing conversations with people. That's always been part of my perfect day, having amazing conversations with people that I enjoy and love and learn from, and then have an amazing dinner somewhere, and just get to the end of my day and feel like I absolutely lived it to the fullest, that there was nothing I missed out on. And I had really started to realize that in my life over the last few years. And yet I lived close to the ocean, but that never actually happened on the ocean. So I just continue to do that from time to time, is visualize my perfect day, but not with any force or effort, not really practice. So we come up with this course, Welcome to Paradise. And my team just went absolutely above and beyond. This experience is like nothing we have ever created before. If you have ever taken a Sara Landon course before, we're proud of all of our courses, but this is like nothing we have ever created before. It is a 6-session channeled course, but throughout the entire experience, it has been designed to be like going on a grand adventure or a vacation or a cruise. And so from the moment it begins, it is fun. It is like going on a cruise adventure with excursions and bonuses and surprises all throughout the experience. And the things that we cover in this were just so beyond anything we've ever done before. The first session is really about accepting your invitation into a new earth and understanding that that choice is yours. That choice to live in paradise is a state of consciousness that you're either choosing, accepting and allowing, or denying and doubting with some story. And we just went beyond the stories. We went fully into accepting that invitation. The second session, session 2, is about allowing yourself to be in the flow, that there's no itinerary needed. This whole idea that we need to plan and fix it and figure it all out. We went into this absolute embodiment of allowing yourself to be in the flow and going beyond having to have an agenda to really coming into alignment with true creation. In session 3, we went to experiencing beauty and joy and vitality and more, and really that paradise is here now. And some amazing, amazing things that came through to bring everyone into not only a vibrational experience of that, but really feeling that in their physical experiences as well. Session 4 was so fun. We talk about divine rendezvous, connecting and collaborating with masterful creators. And it's really interesting because when we started this, for example, one of the people in our community had no plans to go to Europe at that point. And in the midst of this experience, got invited to go to Europe and got invited to go with his daughter. And his daughter said, well, all those people in that community that's all over Europe. Why don't you go get together with them? And so Troy in our community had this experience of absolutely meeting and connecting and playing and co-creating with other masters halfway around the world that has never been planned when he started this 6-session experience. And it was just so powerful to hear him share that. Session 5 is about infinite possibilities, creating and recreating adventures in New Earth. And we had story after share, after experience of these infinite possibilities that people had during this 6-session series, where they literally had adventures in New Earth that they had never experienced before. The 6th session was really about this journey just beginning. And so I'll share my story. The week before the 6th session, I had this very spontaneous, out of the blue opportunity to go to a place that I had always wanted to go, which was this beautiful resort on the beach in Southern California, with my partner. And we walked into the room. And early on in the series, the council had talked about these turquoise blue water and the sun glistening on the waves, and just looking out at the nature and the beauty and the crystal turquoise blue water and the sun setting and the palm trees. And I had this vision in my mind. And the few days before the final session, I had the absolute experience in physical form of being in the reality that I had seen in my imagination in the first session of the series.
Wow.
I had no idea I was going there, no plan to go there when the series began. And I wasn't looking to create my vision of paradise. I wasn't even looking to create it in my reality because I was already there. And yet I got to experience the true creation of it in the most easy, effortless, beautiful, joyful way. And I actually, for the first time, had the complete and total embodiment of the perfect day that I had been imagining for years, but not needing, because I was already experiencing the feeling of it and I didn't need it to manifest. So I've never experienced so many miracles, so many magical moments, so many shares about these incredible things that have happened. The power, the energy of this series is absolutely beyond anything we ever created before. And all of it was done in a way that was playful, joyful, fun, expansive. My team just went above and beyond. It was just the most incredible experience. And so this package is those 6 sessions, which just may very well change your entire life, as it did mine and many of us, to really step into a new earth and an experience of paradise that is actually a physical manifestation of that. But we have added a 7th live session in honor of the incredible BTO community. So session 7 will be live on Tuesday, December 14th, and it will be called Paradise and Beyond. So it's perfect. Paradise, you will have come into paradise, and then we will go beyond. And I can't even wait to see what's coming as a result of that. Paradise and Beyond. And that will be a live channel session and Q&A with the council on Tuesday, December 14th. No matter when it is that you hear this, this is always going to be available. If you can't make the live session, no problem. It's recorded. The replay will be provided. There are tons of bonuses and surprises as part of one of the bonuses that you receive throughout the experience. Infinite resources, the abundance of heaven on earth, which is one of the most incredible live broadcasts we've ever done, channel broadcasts. That is included with this, and just a whole lot of fun and amazing surprises that I just, that are invaluable, that are just completely invaluable to actually take you into the experiential part of coming into a new earth and heaven on earth. And so there's also a private Facebook community. There are transcripts to every session. We have an exclusive community on our platform for those who are not on Facebook. There are several immediate bonuses as soon as you sign up. But this is like an experience of going on a cruise or a grand adventure with excursions and all sorts of amazing things. A staycation, if you want to call it that. And so instead of spending, $5,000 to go on a vacation, bring this experience to you. Welcome to Paradise, an invitation into New Earth. And it's 147. You can find it on the link. I don't know about you, John, but years ago, I was always like, which way is the / and the /? So beyondtheordinaryshow.com / the one on the end is pressing forward. The one on the right is pressing forward. If it's a / the top goes to the left backwards instead of forward. So I don't know why, but that always reminds me of explaining that, because I could never remember which was a forward slash or backslash. So whatever the top is, if it's backwards, that's the backslash. Forward slash, which this is, points forward. So Sara, Sara 26. So I as always allow things to be choiceless, but I hope you all will be part of this experience, because it's like nothing we have ever created before. And the call on December 14th is going to be pure magic. So I will see you all there for Paradise and Beyond, which is the live session on December 14th.
Oh, this is so good for $147. This reminds me of an Abraham cruise. But it's you, Sara, and it feels more unified, and it feels, not to take anything away from the Abraham cruises, I haven't experienced one personally, but I just feel this guidance that is like stepping stone to stepping stone, that empowers and puts people into the energy. So this is fantastic. I love the way you've set this up, and again, to get the live call on December the 14th. And I have to tell you in all sincerity that I can't differentiate between the council's wisdom that comes through from you or through you and you. It's like there's been such an integration and such an embodiment of what it is, that perhaps the council just shows up as a means for people to say, oh, there's something different here that we need to listen to. But I see you as being the council. And I'm wondering if you experienced that. You must.
I feel an embodiment of it more than I ever have in my many-year journey of this experience with the council. When I am in channel, I feel a vibration that comes through, and they have always said, while their words are important, this is a vibrational experience. And for many people, including myself, when I listen to the council, if I listen back to a session, it sometimes feels like you've fallen asleep. But what they've explained is that you have gone to this higher level of consciousness with an expanded frequency and a brainwave capacity where you're not perceiving in the limitation of your physical senses. And that's how I experience it as well. I'm still aware and still there, but it's beyond. Yeah. And so their vibration, when they focus that in through me to the experience, no matter whether you're part of a live experience or replay, sometimes I don't know the difference really. The energy is exactly the same for me. And that's what other people say as well. So I believe there's always more. I believe that as we embody it and as we begin to perceive into more, that we draw new potentials for reality and experiences to us. So I know that there's always more. There's always more. So they bring forth that awareness and that higher perspective of that more. And it's such an incredible experience for me. And I'm just so grateful for whatever reason
well,
that I get to do this.
Yeah, we're grateful that you've said yes and you've surrendered and
Yeah. And I literally had to say yes. One of the things that I talk about a lot in the semi-private channeling series and learning to channel is that a big part of it is you have to give permission. And I thought I gave permission. I was doing these sessions and people were asking questions of the council. This was very early on. And I thought, well, I am giving permission. And they're like, no, not really. And when I was really honest with myself, I was holding back. I had the fear that my loved ones would find out. What would they think? I have a lot of incredible people in my life that are Christians and Jesus is the only way. And I didn't think they'd understand. I was like, no one is ever gonna see me channel. And I just had all these terms and conditions about it. And I was really holding myself back. And when I really came to the place where I'm like, I can't not do this. It's that old Wayne Dyer, don't die with your music still in you. I'm like, I can't die with all this wisdom in me because it changed my life. It's the greatest the council is the most incredible experience of love and light and vibration and frequency and wisdom. And I can't not do this. So it took a lot of digging deep, but when I finally fully gave permission for them to come through, that's when everything opened up. And that's, when everything changed for me. And my life is now beyond my wildest dreams. But if you are in that place yourself where you're wanting to know what your gifts are and you're wanting to know how to express all this through you, really sit with yourself. And are you ready to fully give permission for that to come through? And it will not be the way you think it is. Nobody could have ever convinced me that it would end up the way it is. This was not my plan and not the way I envisioned it whatsoever. It's beyond my wildest dreams, but not how I thought it would be. It was one step at a time. The next perfect step came. I let the energy and light guide the way. And sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I'm like, no, we're doing it my way. My way would create trauma and drama. I'm like, all right, what's your way? Let's try that.
Right,
In full disclosure, I have come to this place of following the energy and letting the light guide the way because my way sucks.
Some of us learn more quickly than others. Thank goodness people are learning right now.
You all learn a lot quicker than I do, I'm sure.
I don't know about me, but that's wonderful. Y'all, again, the special offer, the link is in the chat box. You already have the link to pop open a new screen if you want to type it into the URL again, beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Sara26, Sara 26. And Sarah, someone's asking in the checkout page that says coupon. There's no coupon code to enter.
No, there's not. Yeah. Our platform automatically, you can't remove the thing that says coupon code on our Kajabi platform. You just can't remove it. So no, that is the special offer.
Yeah, so y'all take advantage of it. And thank you and your team for offering this and for the special live call December 14th also. Amazing.
Yes. And thank you to my amazing team. They are just incredible. And wow, what they have created in this has just been amazing. So thank you to my team.
Yes, thank you, team. And let's jump into Q&A.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Evie, you're the first person I'm going to pick on, and I do mean pick on.
Hi, Evie.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, John. Thank you so much for this time here, for what you're sharing. I heard a lot of the stories from the training we did with Mike Dooley on the art of channeling. And I have a couple questions that I don't think I heard in any of your, and I have been listening to all the council's videos you have on YouTube and stuff. But I wonder if you or the council would recommend releasing past lower vibration emotions, distortions, or experience out of our bodies or out of our energy field that could be holding us back in manifesting something in creating something that we would like to.
So I'm going to share with you their perspective on it. And it may be a little bit different than what you've heard before. They would explain that we are in dimensions of consciousness, that the experience we're having is determined by the level of consciousness we're in. And the vibrational frequency that we're emitting determines the level of consciousness. So they talk about the third dimension being where there's lack and limitation and trauma and drama and these things that were wrong and things that are bad. And we're in that belief of separation. We then begin to elevate our consciousness into the fourth dimension, which is the dimension of transformation. And a lot of us spend a lot of time in the fourth dimension, healing, fixing, processing, releasing. And it is a higher level of consciousness to understand that you're not your circumstances and you're not your conditions and the things that have happened to you, that you're something beyond that and that you can create something new and that you can change that. But sometimes we get really stuck in judgment of ourself and needing to fix it and heal it and process it and release it. And it keeps us just going around and around and around in this loop of what else is wrong? What do I need to fix now? What do I need to still release? What do I need to work on? And they say every single one of us has the opportunity to elevate our consciousness and awareness in any moment, no matter what is going on or what old story or what old thought or what we're experiencing. beyond lack, limitation, fear, separation, the old stories, into a level of consciousness of pure love, and essentially pure love for yourself. And from that state of pure love, your well-being and your abundance is assured. They say when we really come into the realization of who we really are and the truth within you, the past is healed. It's restored, it's whole. You bring everything into that state of pure love with you. And then there's nothing else to fix. There's nothing else to release. When you elevate yourself into a consciousness of pure love, then all that exists is pure love. And so there's nothing wrong and there's no judgment if there's processes and techniques and things that you do that help you release things. But there's also a path where you can come into your wholeness and your completeness and align with the pure love within you and the pure love that is always here for you. And that story just won't be there anymore. And there's a few things in my life that they were stories for as long as I can remember. They were the things I was working on and trying to release and let go of. And I even had something recently, something happened last year that was a really emotional experience for me. And I realized that in trying to go back into it, I'm just taking myself back into recreating a reality that's not happening right now. And instead, I came into this place and I went, in a state of pure love, what would that outcome have been? What would that experience have been? And I just started thinking about it totally differently. That person walked in and loved me and hugged me and everything was great. And we had a wonderful time together and we danced and we played and we laughed. And I now cannot even tell you what that other experience was that I had last year with any emotion or any detail. I can't even go back there in my mind, because you can elevate yourself into another potential, another possibility. And someone asked once on the master's class call about spiritual bypassing, and the council said, it's not spiritual bypassing. You're creator within your own creation. If you want to continue to go through the same loop again and again and again, because you think you're not whole and you think you're not healed and you still need to process and you still need to release, then you'll continue to draw to you experiences of that. And there's no judgment ever. But you can step into a new timeline and potential and possibility that is always available to you, where you create and recreate those experiences from a state of pure love, which is the truth of who you are. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It just it's kind of hard to imagine on the ancestors, that stuff that we don't know for sure. I don't, at least I'm not a medium, but I heard and I believe that some of their past experience, it keeps coming forward into new life until we stop that somehow and release from future generations. So,
well, I would say the way you bring everything into wholeness and completeness and pure love is to bring yourself there. You are creator within your own creation. Sometimes we, in the most loving, compassionate way, don't realize that we're continuing to hold ourselves in a reality that is not what we want. Mm-hmm. The council says you're not here to fix a broken world, and you're not here to right your karmic wrong from the past or anyone else's. You are here in an experience of free will to be on the planet at this time and to create your life the way you want it to be, with joy and love and peace and harmony and freedom and beauty and well-being. And as you allow yourself into that place, into the realization of that, it makes it easier for everyone else to step into that too. But I believe as multidimensional beings, and that's a whole nother conversation, as you fully awaken in this life to your power and your strength and your freedom and your beauty and your truth, that you awaken every part of you and every aspect of you in every lifetime that you've ever lived, including if you could see that as you're stepping into freedom and beauty and love and truth and compassion and kindness and abundance and well-being, that every one of your ancestors is stepping in there with you, because they are already there. They were there the moment they made their transition. And I honor everybody's truth, but it's just not my experience that you're here to right someone else's wrongs from the past You're here to fully embody the pure love that you are. And will that heal ancestral things and lineages? I believe so. But to think that you came here because you have to fix it just keeps you in that loop. And when does that ever end? The way it ends is when you step into the pure love that you are and that your ancestors are too.
Well, Sarah, I want to share with you because I had an experience recently where I've been in a big transition, moving from a place that I've been really ingrained in. And long story short, is I kept getting guided to light a candle, to pull a picture that I had of my mom and my dad and put it on the mantle. Even as I was moving, it was like one of the last things that I got packed. And every day for 2 weeks, just light a candle. And I felt these energies just building up in me, and I could feel their presence and their love from this other side of the veil. And all I felt was their love. And in that, the stories of who they were, who they weren't for me, who their parents were for them, all of that, I couldn't even tap into that anymore. All I was feeling was the love that they be. And they always were.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth of who they were, even if they were a consciousness where they in a state of consciousness where they had forgotten it.
And that's all it can be now.
It's
that's
all
like,
it is a state of consciousness. When we're in density, when we're in a lower vibration, when we're believing we're separate, when we're believing we're broken and wrong and bad, and there's hurt and shame and grief and anger and unconscious behavior and wounds, that all exists in a state of consciousness. It was never the truth of who they are, and it's not who they are now, and it's not who you are. And I love, if you want a beautiful ceremony, a beautiful sacred experience like what John is describing, from your place of power and from your state of pure love, if you are guided like John was to create a sacred experience and light a candle and celebrate and hold a space of love for your ancestors, then absolutely do that, follow that, but enjoy it, make it sacred, make it beautiful, allow it to come from your fullness and wholeness, not because there's a broken part of you or them in any of that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that, John. That was amazing.
Oh, I appreciate that. And it's funny because we talk about, this ancestral trauma or releasing the ancestral trauma. Are we releasing it, or is it releasing us? And then it starts getting to be this heady thing that it's like, wait, none of that makes sense. Let me just be.
Yeah.
It's like these terms, bypassing, the releasing ancestral trauma, they keep us, they have the potential to keep us in the loop, as beneficial as they can potentially be or trying to be. But again, Sarah, that resonance, that energy that comes through in the being now, it's profound. And Evie, it seems like you carry it so easily. Again, you just resonate it, gift it to yourself.
Yes, when Sarah was talking, my entire body just I just felt the resonance with it. It was
so beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Evie, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Evie. We love you. What a great question.
I want to take another live caller here in a second, but I have to read one comment that came in from Julie J. And Julie, that's awesome. Thank you. I have such a beautiful testimonial of being a part of the Welcome to Paradise ! It's the best workshop I've ever participated in. And I've done many ! You will absolutely love it, guaranteed! I'm emphasizing, guys, on purpose. Such a generous gift, Sarah, and big heart. Thank you, Julie J, for typing that in. And from Julie, Jordan, I've got to pick on you because you're the other dude with the fireplace. Welcome.
Thank you, Julie.
Hi.
Welcome, Jordan. What's your question for Sarah?
Hi, Sarah. Big fan.
Hi, Jordan. Thank you.
Here, same with you, John. Thank you for all you provide. I just have a question. I've been living my joy. I'm trying to stay in my joy. I create. I do all this. How important is it to share it? Like, do I have to be posting on social media and all that, or can I just?
No. One of the life purposes you came in here with did not have a line item on the contract that said you should and are supposed to post on social media. No, never. You know what? I love social media personally. I think it's what you make of it. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect and share. And I think it's a wonderful thing. Facebook, Instagram, whatever modalities that you use.
Yes.
However, some of my greatest joy, Jordan, comes from going to the grocery store and just being in my joy with the checker, with the one of the guys that works in the back named Al. It's just one of my favorite things. Al's joyful, and I can't wait to see Al when I go in the store, because it's just this moment of joy. So when you're at the gas station, when you're running errands, when you're out for a walk, your life, every moment is an opportunity for you to shine your light and emanate your joy and be who you are. And there are no shoulds, there are no supposed to. Do it in a way that you love and that feels good to you. And I just, you are glowing right now. So you just being here is spreading that beautiful joy from within you to the world around you.
I love your channeled messages. I read them.
Thank you.
For 2 weeks, you post them. They're beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. Love you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
question. This actually leads me to a question. What would you say to those that they're like, it wells up in their heart that they have all this love and information to give, and it's like, oh my God, but I have to be of service. I have to be of service. I have to be of service. And it becomes this arduous thing, like this cross that they're carrying.
I hear that a lot. People have all of this love and wisdom and in them. You know, the easiest thing is to notice in every moment whether you are doubting and denying yourself and your power and the wisdom and the joy within you because of some story you're telling yourself of why you can't share your love and light and wisdom, or you're allowing it to shine through you. Part of why we're here is to express who we are. It's part of our innate reason for being here. Expansion, to fully express all that you are and to choose the experiences you want to have for you. So when we feel like we're not expressing our truth, or we're not expressing this wisdom or this love or this light within us, sometimes it can feel like you're dying. It can feel so painful. And I remember this very well. And I was like, I want to spread joy and love, and I want to help change the world, and I want to make a difference. And I have all this incredible wisdom. And the caveat, like, as long as I never have to go on video and or into a live audience and channel where anybody can see me, as long as no one ever hears my voice early on in channeling, then fine, I'll do whatever you guide me to do. So you don't get to really put caveats on it. You know, early on in my channeling, my voice sounded really different than my own voice. It sounded like a Russian man. It's kind of a joke in our team, but I never wanted anyone to hear that. And over the years, it is integrated into my own voice and much closer. But you know, I still, when I channel when I'm really in a channeled state, my eyes are closed, and it really helps me to tune in, because the energy and the consciousness that's coming so fast, it just helps me to focus and translate it. I can channel with my eyes open. It's just easier on my body. So allow yourself to be who you are, even if you do not think anyone will understand. I really didn't think anyone would understand. I thought maybe there was 3 people on the planet that would actually think it was okay, or enjoy it, or read it, or listen to it. And so I have those moments when you're kind of doubting yourself, or you're not good enough, or you're not ready yet, or there's all these things you got to do before you can really share your gift with the world. Or we make it this big thing. And I know I did this too. I'm in my job, and I'm one way in my job and in my business, and I'm living a completely different life over here. I'm in the spiritual closet. And John knows this. Like, I literally used to channel in my closet so that no one would know and I wouldn't get interrupted. I would literally channel in my closet. So John and I created these events several years ago called Great Awakenings, where it's like bringing these spiritual conversations out of the closet. It was metaphorical for me, but it was actually like really bringing all of this out of the closet. And so allow yourself to be who you are, and just catch yourself if you're creating a story where you're doubting or denying that you can really be who you are.
Beautiful.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's go to another caller. Eleanor, let's go to you, please. And
Hi,
welcome.
Eleanor.
Hello. I had a question about, people coming to your course, Paradise and Beyond, with an idea of what they think they're supposed to be doing, and then coming out of the course with a totally different idea. Does that happen very often?
Probably all the time. Probably all the time. Troy's a perfect example. I don't think when he started the course, he had any idea he was going to go to Europe, and the magical experience he had of rainbows and these sacred places and these hikes. And he said everywhere they went, like people were staring at them and just I know them, and they were just glowing, and it was magical. And it was none of their intentions or what they thought they were supposed to be doing going into the course. And I think in some ways we all have that experience. So it's like an adventure. And the council says so many times, the greatest thing that they could say is your life is a grand adventure. It's like a vacation. Why do you go on any vacation? To have a new experience, to go someplace new, to meet new people, to have a new conversation, to experience new cultures. It all expands you. It all provides data and information that lead to your expansion. And that's what our human experiences are too. It's this vacation or this grand adventure. So if something's calling you in a particular direction, then follow it. You have no idea what magic and miracles may present themselves to you. I still stand behind this. The greatest things that have ever happened in my life were not things I planned, not goals I had, not things that happened the way I thought they should. It was the out of the blue experiences where someone showed up on an ordinary day, just like any other day, and absolutely changed my life forever. And John Burgos is one of those people. I had someone in my community that had reached out to him and reached out to me and said, you guys have to meet and you have to have her on the show. And, John follows the light. I mean, he tunes into each one of these potential speakers, and it's either a yes or a no for him. And maybe a no, not right now, or maybe a yes, but not right now. But, John is a perfect example of just, showing up and allowing it to present itself to him. And, he has changed my life. He's just absolutely been one of those pivotal moments in my life and in my work and in my career. And this wisdom with the council that just, was an out of the blue magical miracle in my life has never been the same. And I tell him that often, but it's probably okay to hear it again, right?
I love hearing it. And by the way, Sarah was a hell yes, not a yes, maybe later. She was a hell yes. Immediately when I saw the email, I was like, yes, we got to connect. Yeah. Responding back. It was so instantaneously, but when you know, you know. And
do you remember the experience we had with your first session? John did a session with the council to get familiar with the council, and the council gave him an analogy very similar to this, like the easy, effortless, harmonious way where you can try to figure it out. And they said, if Source inspired this idea where you looked out your window and decided you were going to climb a mountain, but you're going to figure it out and you're going to do it your way and you're going to force it in effort. You can do it the, way you would typically always do it. And the way you thought it was possible, then you would head out on Monday morning and go climb the mountain and get to the top. And you might be exhausted and worn out, or you might say, okay, I'm going to wait till the energy guides me. And you wake up the next day and there's no energy, but you really want to be on the mountaintop by Friday. Well, then, you walk out your driveway on Friday morning thinking that, you've let go of all resistance because there's no way you can get to the top of the mountain now. And waiting in your driveway is a helicopter that picks you up, air conditioning. There's gourmet food on the flight. The helicopter drops you off at the top. You're replenished, you're refreshed, you're sitting at the mountaintop with this beautiful view, and up over the other side of the mountain walks this person that divinely steps into your life and changes everything forever. But if you would have arrived there all exhausted and tired and worn out that you fell asleep under a tree, you would have missed the divine orchestration. So they tell this story to John, and it's like on a Wednesday. And on Friday morning, never thinking another thing of it, I walk out my driveway and turn to go down the street, and there's a helicopter parked on the street by my house on a Friday. And I call him and I take a picture, but I still have the picture. I should post it
That's
on
so
Facebook
funny.
and in the group. But it was like, oh my gosh, did that happen because we talked about it that drew the helicopter? Or did divine orchestration know that the helicopter was going to be there on Friday? So that's the analogy they used. And John and I decided it's both. And it really doesn't matter because it was so cool.
Amazing. I'd forgotten about that story. And yeah, it's and the wisdom, just following from that heart and surrendering into it. So beautiful. Eleanor, thank you for asking. And
Thank you. Love you, Eleanor. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
want to point out also is that in the courses and how it's always progressing, it's always expanding. And you've mentioned Troy a few times. Troy's been part of your community for a long time. And so Troy could have stopped at a course or a level of mastery that he's reached, but there's the exploration, the wonder, the curiosity. And I know something within him. I've met Troy and he's a beautiful being.
Yeah, he came to our live events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's where I met him too.
it's like, this doesn't have to be a one-off and I've got it. And then what do I do with it? It's like this, just this continual evolution. And when you're in divine community in such a way, it's the way that you expand and melt into yourself, and sharing what you used to think was a vulnerability, but now it's like, no, it's not even a strength. It's just who I am in truth. And God, the freedom in that is so amazing. And so Sarah provides that. So I'd say if you do come expecting, that's awesome, but you may get so much more.
Yeah, really good question.
Thank you, Eleanor, for asking.
I love when people hear that word master and they're like, oh, well, I'm not a master. And some of the most masterful moments I've ever seen of living mastery are those people who don't think they're a master. And I'm like, do you see how incredible you are? Do you see how you're embodying this mastery? Oh my gosh, the council says you're all here to embody the master that you are of your life, of your energy, of consciousness. It's all here for you. So
well, there's a ticket to paradise for you here also.
Yes, there is. Welcome to paradise, an invitation into new earth.
Invitation into the new earth. The special offer, y'all, again, it's in the chat box. Click in the bottom of the chat box. April, I'm sure, is typing in the link as we speak or copying it. So you can find it really easily. Or again, go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Sarah26. Take you to the same special offer page. Sarah, I can't believe we're into it. Always flies so quickly with you.
We always have so much fun.
As we're ending today's call and we're in this energy of flow, again, of not having a projection of where the conversation needed to go, what needed to happen next. Just the expression of being that's coming in. Is there anything in the moment that that kind of wants to be heartfully shared as we say goodnight to everybody tonight?
Well, first, just to those who had their Jen and Susan and Penny and Peg, anybody here, just my love to you. And I would just stay open to, the council always says this, if they didn't answer your question, all the questions have sort of been answered, they often say, but what we've realized is that sometimes your question doesn't get answered in that moment because there is an experience that is coming for you that will answer your question. And because you have an experience of it, instead of just hearing the words, it's going to go so much deeper and be so much more meaningful and so much more miraculous for you. So be open to the answer to your question coming in an experience over the next few days to come. I know you've heard me say this a couple of times. And if you followed the council at all, you've heard them say it. But when you think of any question that you ever have, if you can come into the moment and take some deep breaths and know that the answer to every question is you are a creator within your own creation, and you have the power to create your life any way you want it to be. You don't need to be specific. You don't need to have an agenda. But as we began this talking about a new earth, there is a dream within every single one of us that knows that peace and joy and harmony and love and abundance and well-being and freedom is our innate, inherent birthright and what we're here to experience. So allow yourself to experience that, open up and really receive that. The energy of giving and receiving is one. And most of you have given and given and given and given. And maybe what you most need to hear or remember is that opening up and receiving is just as important. It's just as important. And maybe everything that you've been imagining and dreaming what it would mean for you to live in your paradise or live in heaven on earth is right here for you if you will just open up and allow yourself to receive it. So thank you for being part of this experience. John, I love you. I love creating these calls with you and your beautiful community. April, thank you for all that you do for all of us. It's just such a joy. It is my dream come true to be here with all of you. So thank you. I love you, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sarah. I love you too. And it's my joy as always as well. And it's our community. Y'all, that's our community.
It is.
Truly. And thank you for being such a beautiful, inspiring part of it. And
yes. And we'll see you December 14th on Paradise and Beyond.
That's right. December 4th. I'll be out of the country. I won't be able to be on, but I am going to start listening to the courses and start taking it. It sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Sounds amazing. I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
I will see y'all in the ethers, in the recordings. Y'all are participating. And again,
hi, everybody.
here with everybody. Have a great evening.